Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Mercurius IT webinar. We're just going to give it 30 seconds just to let people join our webinar before we get started with the content. So give us 30 seconds and we'll get going shortly. Perfect. So welcome everyone to this Mercurius IT webinar. Today we're going to be talking about Dynamics AX to Dynamics 365 Finance and Supply Chain upgrades. So specifically what we're going to be talking about today is our fixed price upgrades. We're going to be discussing not only the challenges we see, but also what we're going to be doing is talking about what you gain from finance and supply chain management. We'll talk about how we upgrade. We're going to talk about some fixed price upgrades and specifically what this means for you. And then we'll leave some time at the end for a Q&A. So if you do have any questions, please pop them in the chat and or in the Q&A box, and we will get to them at the end. So we'll start with some introductions for you so you know who is on this webinar. So I'll start with myself. My name's Joe Edwards. I'm the Associate Director of Business Development for Finance and Supply Chain Management here at Mercurius IT. My background is I've worked in Dynamics 365 for the past 8 years across multitude of roles. So I actually used to be an implementation consultant. I then quickly realized my calling was in business development and wanted to help customers move over and see the benefits of the product, the early engagements. So kind of the past 6 years have been spent helping organizations move over from legacy systems to modern cloud applications. I've also got with me my colleague Mahesh, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to the webinar. So my name is Mahesh. I've been working with Dynamics from last 15 years. Have the good experience in the upgrades from the legacy AX to Dynamics 365. My role is in Mercurius. I'm Associate Director. I'm heading the Dynamics 365 F&O practice. Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mahesh. And we've also got our Managing Director, Jay, here, who's going to introduce himself and also introduce Mercurius IT for us.
Thank you very much, Joe. Thanks, Mahesh. Hello, everyone. This is Jay Tahsildar. I'm founder and managing director at Mercurius IT. It's my pleasure to really welcome you all. The list is quite impressive, those who have registered and joined. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting conversation for next 40-45 minutes, and keep your questions flowing. Yeah, just to talk about Mercurius. As you can see from this logo on my jacket, it's not 20, but 21 years old business now. So on 1st of February, we completed 21 years. We started Mercurius in UK in 2005. And over the last 21 years, we've grown our footprint for our UK and Irish customers in 35 plus countries, right from East Coast of Australia to West Coast of Canada and US. And predominantly, while we started as SAP practice in 2005, in 2010, we became Microsoft Dynamics partners. And then in last 6-7 years, we've grown that Microsoft Dynamics practice so dramatically that we decided to 100% focused on Dynamics only. So in last 8-10 years, we have completely focused on Dynamics. And I'll talk about really as we go along, because the topic of today is upgrade, and that's AX to D365 FSCM upgrade. One of those growth stories and success stories in between 2015 till 2020 actually came from Microsoft Dynamics' other product, that's NAV and Navision's upgrades to NAV 2018, and then eventually Business Central. And what we offered to the client over the years, really, as I say, the skill, the scale, the speed. And that's what, of course, the customers love. But the most important fourth piece really was the price that was really available with those 3 S's really, that we could really just wow our customers. And that's the reason we acquired so many customers in last 10 years in Microsoft Dynamics space. And that's really what we are bringing to all our AX customers as well now. And we have been doing, of course, FSCM now for a few years. And this AX to FSCM drive is definitely going to help our customers. And they would take all the benefits of that 21 years of experience that we have, 250 plus engagements that we have carried out. The recognition that we have in the UK market as a leading Microsoft Dynamics provider, including being a UK Jumpstart partner, and in our cohort, we were Partner of the Year with Companion for 4 years in a row from 2022 till 2025. So you would be talking to Mercurius, who's a very safe pair of hands, and that's what I like to call. And yeah, that's really short about Mercurius. I'm sure we are going to have many conversations with some of you. And just to really expand on what we talked about, really Mercurius IT's capability, this one slide will give you our overall capability in Dynamics 365 space, really. So if you see, we cover pretty much everything that Microsoft brings to the table on Dynamics 365 solution suite, plus a very strong Power Platform, CRM, and Azure presence, really. So we become really not just safe pair of hands for you guys, but we also become one-stop shop for you to give you that peace of mind when you're looking to move from your old legacy AX system to a new technology D365 system. So yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, looking forward to this conversation for the next 40 minutes.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jay. So we wanted to start with some of the stuff that we hear from our customers, why they may not be wanting to move to the cloud. We've got a couple of different slides on this, but the three that we pick up on first is my legacy on-premise system is good enough. Migrating will cost too much time and money, and I've already invested too much in my existing solution and don't want to pay cloud fees. Now, if we go through these in a little bit more detail, so when people say my legacy on-premise solution is good enough, what we actually find is that because of where they are with the technology and how fast technology moves on as well, is that they create this limitation where they can't be flexible, they can't be scalable, especially when that comes to the size of organizations that are utilizing Dynamics AX, is that a lot of them are global and that they want to expand globally or have aspirations to expand their business, and actually that's going to limit them. But also, as they grow, they're not able to scale effectively. For every £1 million of revenue that they want to add to their business, they've got to hire another person or another few people. So what we want to do is utilize systems and utilize the technology that's in these products that has been kind of built over 20 years, but you might be 10 years in the past in terms of what system you're on, so you can't utilize that automation. I think one of the ones that we'll touch on in a bit more detail is obviously migrating will cost too much time and money. And I guess, Jay, from your perspective, not only your knowledge in the industry, but as a business owner as well, kind of talk to me about what that means to you in terms of it will cost too much. Actually, how do you manage that with people?
Certainly, Joe. Thanks. So, guys, I've been doing ERP and then CRM since 1997. So close to 30 years now, and I've seen so many during this time, really, migrations from older technologies to the new technologies for whatever reason. To begin with, it was Y2K or new version from SAP, new version from BAN for some of those who may still remember BAN ERP, and now lately in Microsoft Dynamics space. The problem is why customers feel very comfortable on the existing legacy system. The world moves with technology. And the best policy is really to keep up with that technology, because if you keep your system on old technology for too long, it starts costing you more. So if you really do a proper ROI case, then you would see that moving to new technology is much cheaper in long run than really sticking to the old technology. Of course, the scenario is different. I completely get it. And sometimes the timing matters as well. But yeah, I think now the important thing, really, you've reached a point on AX where there is no way forward. You would continue AX as long as you want because you've purchased that perpetual license. But to get all the advantages of cloud, to get the advantage of security and compliance, to get the advantage of AI, you'll have to be on the new technology. And I give an example of phones. So all of us use smartphones from say 2000, 2001 till about 2009, 10, and we all were comfortable with those phones with keypads. And for a long time, people thought that, oh, we were better off with phones with keypad. When Apple launched, Steve Jobs launched those phones with no keypad and a complete screen. Do you really even buy a phone with keypad anymore? But there were lots of people who stuck to those phones with keypad for at least 4, 5, 6 years after the phone without keypad was launched. And that's really is happening with even technologies like Microsoft Dynamics 365. So there is huge cloud benefit. And I think, Joe, that's exactly what the message is here, that stick to the new technology and we can prove that it's not going to cost you more, it's going to cost you less and give you all the advantages.
Absolutely agree. And I think the other thing around that as well is that the benefit of cloud technology is that we no longer have to go through these massive upgrades as often. We can do incremental upgrades. We can create ROI quicker. We can benefit from functionality quicker. So that's one of the real reasons that we want to get people onto the cloud product, and it's our customers sing praises of it over and over again, which is why we continue to want to do this. I think the last 2 points are really key. Is we don't trust cloud security, which is a very, in my opinion, antiquated view, considering how much is invested by Microsoft into security at this point. Why you would not want to take advantage of over $1 billion invested annually in security, why you would not want a guaranteed 99% or 99.9% uptime SLA. It's yes, it was previously managed by IT teams. Yes, we could manage the security and it was more secure than cloud services. Completely get that it used to be. Now it is not the case at all. And we are more than happy to help people understand what that means and how we do that. And there is other stuff that we can do on top of that to make sure that in this world of cloud and AI, that security is at the forefront of what we do. And the last one is our solution is too customized. And we'll talk a bit about how we can get around this in terms of how we upgrade. But the biggest thing is when stuff is manually written, where there is people not available anymore to keep maintaining that as people leave businesses. Actually, what we want to do is, one, make sure that we don't create these silos of people that can only manage a solution, where there is less and less talent in the market to be able to solve this sort of stuff. But we also want to utilize technology like the Power Platform to simplify processes and actually improve those processes as well. Use standard functionality that is constantly being added to, where something used to be customized, it might not be anymore. But for those industry specific stuff, is how do we create these customizations in the most efficient and sustainable way, and it's using the Power Platform as we go forward. So what are the risks? I mean, we've talked a little bit about there around what are the risks, and the easy one is we don't trust cloud security. Well, security risk is now higher without cloud security. Solution is too customized. We've got tools and functions that can mitigate that risk. But for the other three is, can you afford not to do it? Is always the question that I ask people. And the reason behind that is that mainstream and extended support for AX is ended. It's not there anymore. You're not going to be getting those security patches. You're not going to be getting those compliance patches. So actually, you're creating more risk in your business. Can you afford for a security risk to happen? Can you afford to not have that functionality going forward? Your competitors can innovate and grow faster than you. We work in a very competitive market, and actually we need to continuously innovate and utilize the best technologies to kind of push that through. And we'll show you some of the tools that we use as part of this to improve our implementations. The cost of ownership will increase, maintenance, development, and what we don't necessarily mean by that is license prices. If you are still paying like what used to be BREP or kind of fees on top of it for those patches that aren't there anymore, what you are paying for now is talent. You're paying for people to fix stuff. If it does go wrong, you're paying for the fact that you're not doing it. You're paying for the servers that it's got on, and actually the performance and the functionality is stagnated with it. And also, one of the real key things that we see, especially with businesses, especially in the last kind of 5 years, is the future proofing for potential sales. So with a lot more private equity companies, especially coming into our tech sector, we're very well aware of this, but also other sectors, is that when people are looking to buy companies, and if you're looking at an exit strategy or you're looking to gain investment to grow your business, what they will look at is your technology landscape and actually what have you got, how are you set up to grow going forward. So again, that's another thing that we help with is create that technology map, not only in these, but specifically with this, we look at that. So I'm going to hand over to Mahesh now. He's going to talk about, I'm going to hand over to Jay very quickly first, and then I'm going to hand over to Mahesh to talk about the features and functionality within it. But Jay, I just wanted to, just before that, talk about why Microsoft. You mentioned before that we've, as a partner, moved from SAP to Microsoft, and actually kind of elevated on that is why should customers kind of either continue down the Microsoft route or kind of improve that investment in it as well.
Thank you, Joe. And as I mentioned right in the early part of the webinar, since last 30 years, I've worked on two large ERPs before focusing on Microsoft Dynamics. That was SAP and BOM and Info Solutions really. But last almost 10-15 years, complete focus has been on Microsoft and Microsoft Dynamics related products, because the lead it has taken in the market with innovation and the solutions that they offered over the years. Really, they moved very quickly from the older version of Dynamics AX in this case to Dynamics 365 Finance and Supply Chain, brought in a lot of supply chain solution functionality, as well as really all the related CRM functionality. Power Platform, Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate has become the glue to make sure that the enterprise value is delivered within that one ecosystem. And that's really based on that one solid, robust cloud platform like Azure. And that's the reason Microsoft is now considered as a trusted leader in that business applications and low-code solutions. And in the last couple of years, they have taken again another big step towards AI with their partnership with, of course, OpenAI and everything that they offer through Copilot, really. Not just the Copilot that we know, just as a chat bot, really, as a chat GPT-like engine, but also the agentic solution that they have offered as a layer on the entire dynamic solution. And that's where, as you see from this slide statistics, 97% of Fortune 500 companies choose Dynamics 365 or Power Platform. And I'm pretty sure the number is even higher when it comes to things such as Office and Teams and those productivity tools. The advantage you get is really a very tightly integrated ecosystem with your business applications, with your low-code platform like Power BI, with your Office productivity team tools like Office and Teams, and the layer on top with Copilot for your AI, really. And that's really what Microsoft brings to the table. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I'm going to hand over to Mahesh now. He's going to just talk us through in a bit more detail kind of the product itself and some of the features in it that you could benefit from if you're coming from AX.
Thanks, Joe. So as we know, already Jay mentioned that it's a cloud solution, and D365 F&O is a SaaS platform, software as a service. So what the main benefit you will get in the SaaS, we can shrink or grow our infrastructure based on our usage and the requirement. That we can call elasticity. So and one more feature like the data centers, Azure data centers, a lot of data centers are available, and it will enable our disaster recovery and high availability. They will maintain and different geos clouds in the system, and it will enable our regulatory compliance of respective countries. So the other features we can say in the integration with existing MS technologies. MS technologies, as we all of you are using the Office Suite and Teams and other Microsoft technologies, we can easily integrate with all the Microsoft technologies with Dynamics 365 Finance and Supply Chain application. So, and even we have the Power Platform capabilities that can be enabled with the mobile application. We can use the AI things and other things. And the built-in analytics. Built-in analytics, we have the embedded Power BI built in the application itself. We can directly utilize in the ERP inside. No need to go in outside and open the Power BI reports. It will be embedded in the applications. So, and the repository side, we have the Azure DevOps. It will enable to the code repository and test cases, automated testing, and we can maintain the all the features and user stories. We can maintain user stories and the things. Okay, so these are the features of the cloud capabilities in the D365 cloud. In the next slide, yes, we can see here how evolving the Dynamics 365 ERP. Now we are calling as a AI ERP, AI-driven ERP. So before 23, we can the only users was working. That entries they're doing by the your operational users. But in 23-24, Microsoft introduced the Copilot. It will enable to chatbot. It will chat with the system, and it will give the data ready with you, and it will give the summarize the data, and it can help to enhance the productivity. In the 25, it added the agentic solutions. In the agentic solutions, it will act the things, not only giving the suggestions and things. It will act the things, and it will do the entries automatically based on your data, and it will work. So in the future, it will mostly more than 60-70%. It will be useful the agentic solutions. In the next slide, some of the data we have with us by Microsoft. So in coming 2028, only 15% people people do this. Remaining 85%, it will done by the automatic solutions, automated solution, ChatGPT, and the agentic solution. Some of the automation with the Microsoft ecosystem, other these things. And who are using AI right now, the more than 82% feels that it will give the enablement of the fastness of the work, and the operational user can focus on their important work, their business work, their operational work, rather than the spending lot of time into the these things. And
I was just going to say,
yes.
sorry, Mahesh.
Yes.
I think this is something that's really kind of key at the moment in terms of what and especially with the agentic agents, which will show kind of specifically where they are at the moment and where potentially they're going to go to as well. But I think it goes back to that scalability point. I guess, Mahesh, from your side, is that we can businesses can utilize this technology rather than previously they would have had to add staff. Now it's actually we add that digital labor in, and it will continue to grow as well as we go through.
Yes. Okay. So this agentic ERP, how the useful for our day-to-day business. In this, you can see all this solution, all the processes about the business, concept to market, design to retire, like that, till record to report. It is all these processes attached in the single system. Then you can enable the easily access of the data, and it will give the suggestions and recommendation to the system like that. So Jay, do you have any plan to take on this based on your experience?
Certainly, I would like to talk about really one example, one case study that we are developing really, because agentic is so new. And as all of you are aware of the ongoing development on the agentic solution side, a number of cases that we've shown on this slide, uh, everybody is on the same starting line right now. Nobody has got an advantage. So even small and medium companies with really innovative approach are taking much bigger lead in the market. Just about 3 months ago, while we were working with a customer for a D365 solution implementation for their supply chain business, the customer decided to take the lead on the AI and agentic solution delivery. And they identified with Mercurius IT's consulting team 70 use cases where in their end-to-end supply chain business, agentic AI could add value or help them reduce the inefficiencies or improve productivity. From those 70 use cases, we shortlisted top 20 and started a project in early December to deliver those 20 use cases. And this journey that we are currently working on with our customer is really something which is empowering, very innovative, because we are seeing as we go along how these 20 use cases would help them improve the productivity in the business, improve the efficiencies in the business, and ultimately gain the market leadership. And whether it is a simple concept to market, design to retire, there are lots and lots of opportunities that Mercurius IT's team can evolve with your business team, help you, and with your help really identify those scenarios and tell you how quickly we can deliver it. And by the way, you don't have to do this by breaking your bank. This is really delivered these days with the technology that's available for everyone, with really, considering what it used to be a few years ago, fraction of that budget. So thank you. Thanks, Mahesh. That was a very important point.
Thank you, Jay. So coming to Copilot, we all know about Copilot. It is a chatbot and give the solution. But beauty of the Copilot in the Dynamics 365, it is natively available in your workspace. There is no other workspace required. It is in your application itself. And it's the AI assistance. It will give the insight for you based on your ERP data. And other beauty part is it is built on the Azure Open AI services. Means it is also part of the Microsoft ecosystem. So it's tightly coupling between the Microsoft ecosystem. So the next part is the agentic ERP. As we discussed, from Copilot to it moving towards to agentic. In the agentic, what we can say, it will act this system. ChatGPT will provide only data based on your inputs, but Copilot agentic, it will action your tasks. Means when we are providing the data, it will automatically collect and it will that is it. It can be read your mails. It can connect your Office suite and other suite. It can collect from the data and directly input the data in the Dynamics 365 apps. So it is already enabled for all the finance and operation solution, finance, supply chain, human resources, commerce, project operation, and other things. And here some of the first party agent means Microsoft already provided some of the agents by default that we can utilize those things. So this is the one of the agent from finance side, account reconciliation agent. So it will help to reconciliation of your accounts. So previously it was totally the manual process, but now through this agent, it will enable to automate your reconciliation, and it will give the lot of efficiency and the accuracy in the data as it's working. There is no manual intervention in this thing. But here, sorry, in this agent also we have to review and click it is okay. That's our part we need to do. Remaining everything handled by the agent. So the next next agent is related to the supply chain management. Is the supplier communication agent. How it will do? It will read all the mails from the vendor suppliers and what they regards, and it will act in the system. If it is related to some negotiation and other things, it will read and it apply to your ERP system, and it will give your suggestion, recommendation. The supplier is asking like this, what you need to take the action. That's it. And the communication also, it will take the follow-up for the vendor. It will automatically drop the mail for your quotations and other things and send it to the suppliers. And the third one is I keep each one agent from the different application. This is the third agent from the human resources application. It's the onboarding agent. Once we onboard recruited employee, then the onboarding process, it's a tedious task for this HR team. It has to be manually take the follow-up from all the different types of departments, IT, admin department, other things. So here the onboarding agent will help you to automate this all the process and take follow-up and other things, and it can be enabled directly in the dynamic Teams chart. It will give the notification in the Teams and it will full. Okay. So till now these agents, any thoughts from Jay or Joe for the agent?
No, going good, Mahesh. You can continue. Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna add one thing, Mahesh, from my side. I think what's really interesting to see with a lot of these agents is that previously a lot of what we all had to do is create workflows and different automations around these pieces that worked really well, but actually didn't have the level of sophistication that the AI agents have. It didn't have that process of learning, didn't have the data that we've got available to us now. So, and it's really good to see that Microsoft are actually investing in this. And we talk about kind of there's three examples there. There's more examples in the systems, but over the next kind of months, couple of years, this is going to grow exponentially, not only from feedback from customers, from partners directly to Microsoft, but actually by utilizing some of this stuff and by building this is how we can kind of build up this as we go forward, which is really exciting.
Okay, so coming to the automation, some of the automation features enabled in the Dynamics 365. One is the invoice capture, the finance side. Invoice capture, it is useful for your account payable process. It will automate your account payable process. It can be read from the mail or your shared documents, and it will read the data from the document itself, from PDF received from these suppliers, and it will review the data and it asks for any suggestions, any conflicts are there. It can be asked for the user to validate. Once the validation is completed, it will automatically put the pending vendor invoice data in the ERP system. So a lot of manual process automated here, from mail checking. Previously, how it will work, the supplier just to check the mail and they can download the PDF and they read the data and they have to put the entries in the system. But it is already automated in the system. So like that, the next feature is the electronic invoicing. The electronic invoicing, a lot of countries compliance regulation, they are going to mandatory for this electronic invoicing. So how Dynamics 365 enables, once the invoice is completed, it will send the data in required format by the government authorities of respected countries, and it will directly sync with the system. Here one feature we will use electronic reporting that can be enable this feature. Like that same thing, advanced bank reconciliation overview. It is the reconciliation between the bank or our payments. it is also automated in this feature, like we discussed it in the account reconciliation. It is in the system, but here we are reconciliation in between the bank data and the ERP data, our financials. So these are the some automations from finance side or supply chain side. Also, we have some features. This is one approval management app. So the approvers, who are the workflow approvers, it might be the purchase order workflow and the vendor invoices workflow. That authority, the CXO people, that owners of this, they don't keep laptop with them and they can use mobile in anywhere in the by traveling, while traveling and other also. So we have the feature that approval management app. It can be installed in your mobile and you can approve the data from your mobile itself. This is the good feature for you. Then next feature, it is a vendor collaboration. So Microsoft has provided one collaboration portal that supplier can directly access the system without any license. They can access the system, they can see their uh, purchase orders, they can modify something directly in our ERP system. So you can see the how the automation and how the supplier can directly connect with us. In the legacy system, how it is, then we need to request the supplier and supplier give the negotiation and other things, other changes. Everything has to be manually through mails and other things. But here, vendor collaboration directly enabled to the supplier, he can do the things. The last one, the advanced warehouse management. Here also we have the desktop application and the mobile application that is very useful for the shop floor execution and the warehouse application. It's the inbound data, inbound items or outbound items. Directly we can enter the data, and it can give the use for directly from barcode scanning. This application directly we can install in the barcode scanner and utilize it in the shop floor execution. So
brilliant, perfect,
yeah.
Mahesh. Really appreciate that, and I think it's really key to note with a lot of this stuff is that we've picked kind of a handful of examples within finance and supply chain and a little bit in HR that actually. But there's so much kind of more in terms of functionality. What we wanted to give you as a flavour of potentially what you're missing out on in terms of what's in system now that previously you might have had to have other applications, additional license costs. And actually, this is all kind of come into finance and supply chain management. And for us, it's creating this really is best in breed system for a lot of it. And what we do at Mercurius on top of this is our kind of verticalization, our industry focuses. And one of the big things for us is understanding specifically how each of these features can work with the industries that we focus on. So what we do specifically is work with you to understand what can be best utilized and how it can be best worked for you as a business. So we just want to talk about quickly around how an AX to D365 Finance and Supply Chain upgrade works, what the options are and how we go about it. So really there's two/3 choices. You can have a technical upgrade, or you can have a re-implementation, or you can have a hybrid of both. And we'll touch on that in a second. But the best way to kind of split these two down the middle is a technical upgrade is upgrading from where you are at the moment to the new solution, so you can utilize some of the new functionality in it, but really is a place upgrade from one system to another so that you can get onto the cloud system, you can gain some of the benefits from it, or you can go down the re-implementation route, which is a much more involved process from a business perspective, and that goes through kind of a full implementation of looking at this like a new system, while taking our understanding of what you've got in the current system. So it is still easier than moving to a completely separate solution, but you will get more benefits from that. And we'll touch on that in a second. The first thing to note is the technical upgrade is only available for AX 2012 R2 and R3 up to Dynamics 365 Finance and Supply Chain Management. So if you are on a version older than AX 2012 to R2 and R3, you can't directly upgrade to Dynamics 365 for Finance and Supply Chain Management. If you are on those older versions, please have a conversation with us and we can talk through what those options are. But from a simplistic perspective, if you're on one of these two versions, you can do a technical upgrade. So I mentioned hybrid as well. So what you can see on the left is time to implement, commercial investment, solution coverage, and change management. And you'll notice here that there is a pretty common theme across all of the sections in terms of where they fit into this. So a technical upgrade specifically is the lowest time to implement and the least commercial investment that you need. However, you are going to get the least solution coverage and the least amount of change management in that for that reason. So yes, you can upgrade, but actually, are you going to get the solution coverage that you are and the change management? And we'll talk about how you choose that in a second. The re-implementation is the highest. So it has the highest time to implement and the highest commercial investment, but it could also provide, well, it most likely is going to provide the highest return on investment for you because it's got the highest solution coverage and you're going to get the most out of that change management. You're going to understand how to use the features that are in the system rather than replicating something you previously did. And there is a world where you can do a hybrid. And actually that might be for people that have some technical code that needs upgrading, but still want to go through certain change management processes. And in all honesty, most of the implementations that we will go through from AX to FSCM, and it was the same when we did nav to Business Central, is that there is some element of technical upgrade and there is some element in re-implementation in every single project. It's just how much. And obviously what we want to do is utilize the technology there for technical upgrades where it makes sense, but also we want to re-implement where it also makes sense. And that's something that as a partner, we can help with. So I guess, Jay, from your perspective, we have these conversations day in, day out. We know kind of why we might choose upgrade versus re-implementation, but I think there's a couple of things on slide here in terms of why people might choose. What are the biggest things for you that you've seen when it comes to that technical upgrade versus re-implementation? How do people choose?
Yeah, and Joe, absolutely right. This is where the conversation starts. Our expertise makes a big difference with the client and in consultation with our clients really to choose what's the right approach. There are certain situations where data is very, very important and they need to really upgrade the technical solution really so that they carry forward the data, because in re-implementation, typically you may lose certain transactional data and leave them in the old system. And there are situations actually where the customization or bespoke coding that they've done on the old system are so critical, and because it's so business specific and unlikely to kind of come in within the standard functionality of any ERP, carrying forward that technical code onto the latest environment is very important. So what we do as a practice really bring in that discovery phase where we add value. We work with the client very closely to understand their business processes, the challenges that they face actually going forward, or whatever aspirations and roadmap they may have for next 5-10 years really. Look at the technicalities of the solution and make a recommendation of sometimes not just one, but one or two or three different approaches, and then select the right one. And I think that consultative approach is where we have added a lot of value. That's where our customers have taken a big benefit from that approach before deciding whether you go with simple technical upgrade or a complete re-implementation or something in between as a hybrid approach. But yes, I think this is where it all starts.
Exactly right, Jade. I think the biggest thing that we can provide as a partner is the return investment analysis of these decisions. Is you may say, yes, we want to upgrade because we want to keep it simple, but you don't quite understand, if we can provide that return on investment analysis for you and say, actually, you're going to double the return on investment, or you're going to do it 6 months quicker, or a year quicker because you go down a re-implementation approach. Yes, it might be a little bit more time investment, not necessarily money investment sometimes, to do that sort of stuff. I think the big thing for me that I always see, and you kind of can section these pieces together, is that if you've got customizations that have documentation with good custom code quality, you're more likely to be able to do some technical upgrades than someone who has customizations with no documentation and terrible custom code quality. You've also got the other side of that, where if you don't think that you need new features that are utilized in the system, but actually you want to gain from security, that might be a reason why actually you go down the technical upgrade route rather than re-implementation. In all honesty, the later that we get away from AX into FSCM, re-implementation makes more and more sense, because there's more features, there's more benefits you can get from it. You can utilize stuff like the agentic agents. So it actually just tends to make a little more sense as we go through. So we've left everyone in suspense on purpose, so we can talk about our fixed price upgrades. I'm going to hand over to Jay here just to discuss kind of why we take a certain approach to these fixed price implementations, why we can offer them, and actually how we make them successful as well.
Absolutely. So thank you very much. And again, going back to 2016, when Microsoft had launched NAV 2016, or late 2015, early 2016, and we realized that people need to take benefit of new technology, and they can do it only when there is reduced or controlled commercial risk. And hence we brought in this methodology and approach of fixed price upgrades, and our customers immensely benefited out of that for last nine odd years, really. What we've done is we have invested our time, our energy, our money, our skills actually in the early part of discovery process, in consultation again with the client to understand the situation, both technically and business process wise, both functional solution as well as the advantages of new solution. And once we carry out that discovery, we put on the table that fixed price upgrade approach, whether it is re-implementation or technical upgrade or hybrid. We have perfected that art of fixed price upgrade, and many of our customers have benefited. And that's the reason this conversation is all about. Let's talk to each other. We are quite happy to walk you through our methodology in detail and really give you that benefit of fixed price AX upgrades. Using Microsoft's accelerator, on top of that, some more tools that we have invested in helped us really to carry out that discovery in such a detail that we make sure that you don't lose leave anything for chances. Really, you focus on really your business while we help you to really come out with the right approach for your upgrade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Joe.
Absolutely. And I think just to give people an idea of what is involved, a fixed price upgrade from a technical perspective is easier in a sense for us to understand what that might look like quicker, because it's a certain process that we follow utilizing Microsoft technology. You can see I'm not going to talk through everything that's on the slide here, but we will release the slide deck after so people can see it. But it's a lot more of a formalized process. We hit stages and we know exactly what's happening with this, whereas with an implementation or a re-implementation, it's a little bit more fluid. And once you get to implementation, that's the bit like a technical upgrade. We know the steps, we know the stages. The first bit is the analysis and design. And how do we get to knowing exactly what you need as a business, what features, functionalities, what processes you go through, what integrations have you got? And the biggest reason that we are able to fix this stuff is because we focus really heavily on this, but we also utilize a Microsoft accredited, Microsoft utilized tool in Guide 365 from SIR. And what that tool does, and I've used this for many years, Mercurius have used this for many years, which is why we've been able to kind of provide this. But essentially, it's a requirements gathering tool with a Moscow approach, but we also go through business processes. We understand integrations, we understand customizations, and it allows us to build up a picture for ourselves that if we go back let's go back 5 years, maybe 10 years, we would have workshops on workshops, and we would spend so much more time in this analysis and design. There'd be such larger investment from a company to getting someone into doing this. You might go to a consultancy to get you in and talk through this sort of stuff. Whereas actually what this allows us to do is cut through a lot of that kind of time just sat asking questions with teams, where we can ask them in a way that we can convert that into what does it look like from a technology side, while still asking users and businesses questions that they understand from that side. So this is just some sample screenshots for you to understand what the process is, and we can walk you through this. We can give you the tool. You have access to this tool. It's not something that we kind of gatekeep. But what it then produces is a Moscow fit gap. So for us, we understand what is a must, what is a should, what is a could have, and sometimes what we do is we say these must, should, could be phases, what you don't need, what you might be unsure of, so that actually what we can do is we can start understanding where the potential gaps are in the product, whether you might need customizations that you previously had, whether you might need a third-party app that is actually better than going for a customization route, whether it might be something from Mercurius where we've got industry verticalized tools to plug these gaps that may be in the system. But it gives you and it gives us a really clear view of what you need, where the gaps are, and how do we do that, which then allows us to create the fitment analysis report for yourself. So again, based on module, you can then see where those gaps are, potentially where the complexities are in your business. A lot of the time it might be warehousing or manufacturing, but actually you might have stuff in the finance side that is particularly complex. One note is always CIS tax. That's one that keeps coming up. So that could be particularly complex for you, and you have to go through a manual process for that at the moment. And then we can provide that analysis off the back of it, so you can see kind of based on the requirements how many of them fit, how many of them are gaps, just in a very simple kind of fit gap analysis report. But what this then gives us is this then flows through to our solution design. Again, we utilize the tool in Guide 365, again, Microsoft accredited, to make sure that our solution design is on plane. And because we have these steps, when we give you a quote, it's easy to stick to it, because we have a very clear definition of what the scope is. We have a very clear definition of what you do as a business and where you struggle. We have a very clear understanding of where the gaps are and what that might look like. And if there are gaps, then we have those workshops to ask those smaller questions. But one, your investment is a lot smaller at that point, because we're only asking the really key questions and not the standard, how do you do a P&L report? But also we then take that forward so that we know when we're designing the solution, we've got the full traceability across it. So the biggest thing for us, and one of the real benefits around this fixed price upgrade, is the commercial risk is so much lower, not only for you, but also for ourselves, which is why we offer it, is that we know we can deliver it. We know that the commercial risk is low for both parties, and actually it creates a really good relationship as we go forward. And to go back to Jay's point around our philosophy is a safe pair of hands, this is what we mean by it, is that the partnerships, the capabilities, the trust, the engagement, the value and the quality that we deliver. We have lifetime consulting, we have global delivery, we have flexible engagement models, again, even outside of the fixed price. We have adaptive global reach with the team as well. But the biggest thing and one of the key things is that because we provide trusted solutions from Microsoft and we provide that 24/7 lifecycle service coverage, the value to yourselves is really high. And actually that's what we continue to strive for, is to make sure that we have that that relationship, we have that partnership with you as a partner, and that you can rely on us to deliver to a very high standard as we go through it. I guess, Jay, is there anything you kind of wanted to add before we wrap up on that piece specifically?
Yeah, happy to really just take that one very interesting question that was asked.
Yes.
And this is very interesting, because when we started those fixed price upgrade campaigns in 2015-16, we thought that we were perhaps going to upgrade from, say, NAV 2013 or 2009 to the latest version, that was NAV 2016. But we came across really some upgrades which were going back to 2004 and 5. Interestingly, there is one situation and one question here, whether we can do and offer fixed price upgrade for AX 4.0. Now, AX 4.0 extended support 2 ended in October 2016, close to 10 years, 9.5 years ago. And I replied to that question by saying that we are quite happy to understand the situation better and also consider offering that fixed price upgrade offer, not just for the recent versions of AX really, but even for AX 4.0, because we have done those kind of projects of very old legacy to the latest cloud migrations really. So yes, the answer is let's engage, let's have a conversation, and we are quite happy to really extend that fixed price offer to such a big migration as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think we might be going down the re-implementation route on that one as well. Thank you to everyone that has been in this. We really appreciate your time, and we hope you gain value from this webinar. And if you do have any questions, please reach out. We'll be reaching out with some more with a follow-up to get some feedback, and we'll also be releasing the content off the back of it as well.
Yep. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you all. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye.